Hey, church family, I hope that you're having a wonderful time in your groups. I know that you are. In fact, I would say this has been the best round of groups we've ever had, and I've loved hearing about all the stories and the new friendships and the great conversations that have been happening in our groups, and I'm so grateful for this time together. So important, so beautiful. We've been talking about faith in our groups for the last several weeks, couple months, and I want to sort of move into a different category, different subject in the next week or so. And so I want to wrap up our thoughts on faith. We could keep going, but I sort of want to wrap that up in this group, and talk about something quite personal for me, an aspect of faith that is so difficult. Every aspect of faith is difficult, but really especially this one. And really what faith is practically, taking all the weight and importance and significance and meaning and responsibility off of me and placing that on Jesus. And being comfortable with that, moving everything into the category of Jesus. You take the wheel, in the immortal words of the great Carrie Underwood. You do the heavy lifting, and I trust you with that. And so when you do that and you're comfortable with that, you're left realizing that why did I want to carry this burden myself anyway? I'm not very good at it. And that sentiment, that phrase, is something that I'm confronted with all the time. There is not really a day that goes by that via a conversation with someone else or just me in my own head or some circumstance where it is not illuminated, it is not made clear to me that I am not very good at what I do. And in my career and how I do things, I'm just not that good at it. And I'm not saying that to garner sympathy or to get emails encouraging me, trying to reaffirm me that I'm great at everything I do. I'm not. And anything else, any semblance of trying to embrace that I'm great at what I do is not true. I'm not. And I think faith is embracing our weaknesses as much as it is anything. It's being okay with not being okay, with being weak, because faith trusts that God is compensating his strength for our weakness. He's stepping in where we're weak, and he is our strength. And so if we're just good at everything and self-sufficient at everything, where does God have room to get involved? Because we're solo artists, I've got this. And so I think accepting, embracing, acknowledging, and even admitting that we're not great at everything. We're not the best at what we do. We're just not. There is a pressure that we feel within us to be the best, to be perfect, to live up to some impossible expectation within our job, parenting, in our marriage, in our careers, whatever it is. We have this expectation that we have to be the best at it, better than anybody else. And the truth is, as hard as we try, we're not going to be the best at anything. We are just ourselves, and we come with some natural strengths that are probably you don't even have to think about, things that you do in your life that are quite easy because they're natural strengths. But I think we really experience the full beauty of what faith is and who God is through us, through faith, when we are moved out of our depths, beyond our depths. We're not just ankle deep trying to control everything, but we're living in a place of dependency on Christ and over our head. And in fact, I'd say it's great to challenge ourselves to live in that space where we're sort of in over our heads and we're having to rely on God. And so I think holding tight and even being defensive about excusing and defending and arguing why we're great and why we're right and why we're the best, you can be free from that and free to embrace the fact that we are weak, that we're not the best at this, that there's so many weaknesses, there's so many areas where we drop the ball, we mess up, we perform horribly. How freeing it is it to let go of that performance-oriented Christianity where we're having to perform for other people to prove ourselves. We don't have to. That's part of the freedom that Jesus promises. We're free from that because he is perfect. Because he is strong, we're free to be imperfect. We're free to be weak. In fact, that's the best place where we can be. Now, if you look at the Bible and you consider these heroes of the Bible that we look up to, we're supposed to admire and emulate, such as Moses. Moses chosen to be the mouthpiece of God, the one to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, to speak forth the law of God, to direct the Israelites via speaking, talking. Well, he had a tremendous speech impediment. He was not the right guy for the job. And so, in fact, every single person that God uses throughout Scripture, throughout the Bible, had major disqualifications as to why they were not the right person. That's why God chose them. There's an old saying, God does not call the qualified, he qualifies the called. I take solace in the fact that there's so much room for God to move within me because I'm not great at what I do, but that just means I have to rely on him to do the doing. And that's a beautiful place to live. That's walking and living by faith. So I want to encourage you, take the pressure off and step out from under the weight of and the responsibility of being the best at everything you do. It's okay. Now, this is no excuse to stop working hard or trying hard or trying to improve or develop. In fact, I would say the last year and a half, I've worked harder than I can remember ever working. And does that mean I'm great at everything? No. It just means that I'm tired. No, I do think that there's always going to be some room for improvement, personal growth. But at the end of the day, God is God. I am not. I am cool with letting God be God and let his grace be sufficient for everything that I do. So have a great conversation about that. Talk about the struggles with admitting and acknowledging weakness and the pressure of trying to be perfect and great at everything we do, the performance-oriented aspect of that for ourselves, maybe even the insecurity of not letting people, never let someone see you sweat. It can be difficult to navigate through that. So I think that it's a great conversation to have, to explore, and I hope you have a great time. I love you very, very much, and I will see you soon. Bye.